You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men power want? More power.
My name is luca-zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a drill. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom.
We're not afraid.
Hello everybody, another Sunday, another show. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and also 104.1 FM. Here we go. Today's show, I'm going to go through the news because I believe a lot is happening, but something specific is really ready to ripe. What's happening right now, it's more than just another day on planet Hell. We are really at the almost, in crossing all the different things that are lining up. And I believe something big is going to happen in the next few months between the economy, some other events that we may not even foresee right now, could be even worse. But also I believe, especially in the United States, the globalists, they need to increase, they step up, to the next level. Gun control, it's on the agenda big time. We had 2 years of Republican Congress that, of course, all they could do is just stay doing nothing pretty much. But I believe now what they're trying to do is going to be worse. Stay tuned. Listen to this little sound bit.
I want gun control. I want gun control. No more guns.
What you're about to see is not an Onion News Network skit or a Saturday Night Live comedy routine. And I'm really at a loss for words here, so stay with me. Here's how CNN set up the scene for this recent alleged mass murder in Thousand Oaks, California. And I want you to pay close attention to what they say.
A deadly mass shooting. The deadliest mass shooting in this country in 12 days. 12 people murdered, including a sheriff's deputy, when a gunman opened fire inside a Southern California bar that was filled with college students.
Now, remember that. Inside a bar filled with college students.
They were line dancing.
Not only was the bar filled with college students, but they were line dancing, which means there was music, people were probably laughing, yelling, and having a good time.
More than a dozen others were injured. The suspected gunman, as of now, we have learned, is dead.
Police say that there were hundreds of people inside the bar.
Okay, so it was filled with college students, and now they tell us that there were hundreds of people inside the bar.
Which was hosting a weekly college country music night. So you can imagine the age range of the folks inside there. Witnesses describe a scene of sheer panic.
Okay, wide age range, a lot of people line dancing, having a good time. Go on.
People were ordered to get down on the ground once the gunshots rang out. Many were breaking windows, throwing chairs through windows in order to escape. Many were hiding.
Okay, so there's a lot of mayhem. Windows being broken, chairs being thrown, people down on the ground on a filled dance floor. By now, you should have a really good mental picture of what CNN just described. Hundreds of people is a lot of people. The dance floor must have been standing room only as people were listening to music and line dancing. Then the shots are fired and everybody panics. There's a mob of people trying to run away, picking up chairs, throwing them out windows to make an escape. Can you picture it? Now, before I play this for you, I thought I was literally going insane because I wasn't seeing what the hell Wolf Blitzer was talking about. I had to rub my eyes and shake my head a little. I thought they queued up the wrong video. Check out this scene of mayhem, bloodshed, and panic.
We just got some new video from inside the bar during the shooting.
Now, this is important. Wolf is saying that the video you're about to see is inside Borderline Bar in Thousand Oaks, California, where a mass shooting allegedly took place. You should see a dance floor that is flooded with hundreds of college kids line dancing.
I want to play it for our viewers for the first time, but I want to caution them. This is potentially disturbing. Watch this.
Beware, Wolf is cautioning you that what you're about to see is potentially disturbing. Are you ready? Roll the tape.
Run, go! He's coming out this door!
Horrific, truly horrifying look inside the massacre.
Wait a second. What did he just say?
Horrific, truly horrifying look inside the massacre.
Did you guys see a massacre? Let's look at the tape again. It looks like this is a dude with a baseball cap with his left elbow propped up on the counter with his chin in his hand. As the guy with the cell phone pans to the left, and of course it's shot in portrait, not landscape, it looks like there's one person in the back that came out from behind a wall, but what I'm seeing is an empty dance floor. There aren't any people, there isn't any blood, there's no music, and there's no line dancing. Oh, and there's no screaming. Prior to what sounds like 9 shots being fired, there's something that sounds like glass being shuffled around. Then the 9 shots, then silence. And then it sounds like the camera dude hits the crash bar on the door and starts running and screaming outside. Guys, he's running away from an empty bar. Then you hear some girls screaming in the background, the tape ends, and Wolf says this.
Horrific, truly horrifying look inside the massacre.
There was absolutely nothing that even comes close to being horrific or truly horrifying. Guys, I'm telling you, when I first watched this, I had to double check to make sure I didn't accidentally click on a Saturday Night Live skit. I mean, you gotta be kidding me. And the truly hilarious thing about this is when I watched this video entitled, Video Filmed Inside Thousand Oaks Bar During Shooting, it had already been viewed 208,000 times with over 1,300 upvotes and only 352 downvotes. And if you look at the comment section, almost nobody says, "What the hell are you guys smoking?" Listen to this girl's testimony about what supposedly happened on the scene when the shooter first showed up.
I heard the gunshot. I turned around and I saw him shoot a couple more times. And within a split second, everyone yelled, "Get down." So I ran to the left of the dance floor where the back door is.
You did? We didn't see you in the video.
And everyone pretty much dogpiled on top of each other.
Dogpile, huh? Yeah, that's not on the tape either.
And then it was silent for a couple seconds.
Okay, silence. Yes, we did see a lot of silence in the video, but it lasted for way more than a couple seconds.
And then all of a sudden, a couple guys that were closer to the bar, they got up and started running towards the back door and said, "Get up, he's coming."
No, not in the video.
And so it was huge panic. Everyone tried getting up.
Huge panic, you say? No, we didn't see huge panic either.
And then trampled a couple times.
Trampled by what? Dust particles floating around in an empty room on a quiet, uninhabited dance floor?
Some guy came behind me, lifted me up and said, "Let's go."
Was the guy invisible? Did he wear slippers? Because not only did we not see him, we didn't hear him running either.
And then I got a bar stool thrown at my head because they were trying to break the window to get out.
Okay, guys, so either CNN's lying, and I know what you're thinking, there's no possible way that could be, or CNN's video, filmed inside Thousand Oaks Bar during shooting, reveals that what actually happened was that hundreds of invisible college students silently line danced to no music while several off-camera people shuffled glass and made 9 gun sounds. And if you think we've reached the pinnacle of Mount Crazy in this CNN video, you would be wrong. I present to you the coup de grace of insanity starring Wolf Blitzer and CNN counterterrorism analyst and former CIA official, Phil Mudd.
Phil, I want to show our viewers once again the very disturbing video.
Very disturbing video, guys. Very disturbing.
that we just received from what happened inside this bar in Thousand Oaks right outside of Los Angeles. I want you to watch it as well. Let's discuss what we're about to see.
Go! He's coming out this door!
So, Phil, what can authorities learn from this video? And I suspect there's probably going to be a lot more video they'll be reviewing.
What can they learn from this video? Well, Wolf, let me just say that it's difficult for me to recall if I've seen anything more horrific and truly horrifying than what you just flashed up on your screen. Seriously, guys, if this Phil Mudd guy doesn't start cracking up and asking Blitzer who the hell laced his Geritol, I'm going to nominate this for the best Onion News Network skit in the history of mankind.
Sure, I mean, you've got to look at the forensics from that. For example, the shells that were shot in that environment, what weapon they picked up there. But there's a broader question I'd be asking seeing that video.
Yeah, like, where the hell are the hundreds of people, Wolf? Why don't we hear any music, Wolf? Where are the bodies, Wolf? Where's the panic? What the hell are you guys trying to pull here?
And it's something the FBI spoke about today with the sheriff's office, and that is motive. Somebody walked in rapidly to a dark environment, looked like they shot indiscriminately, and they shot a lot of rounds quickly. If
they shot 9 rounds into an empty room. And according to the video, there were 9 shot sounds in 8 seconds. That's not exactly very quickly.
If you're looking to the motivation of that individual, that tells me obviously the individual wasn't picking out targets.
The individual wasn't picking out targets because there weren't any targets.
Why did they select a location if we can presume they didn't select the individuals to hit? I think I looked at that video and took away that this is somebody who wanted to just go in and shoot as many people as he could.
What the hell did you just say?
I looked at that video and took away that this is somebody who wanted to just go in and shoot as many people as he could.
How could anybody take that away from this video?
Without trying to determine who they were in the first place.
You don't have to determine who anyone is if no one's there in the first place.
The other thing I took away is just to spend a moment of silence saying, thank God there's a law enforcement officer who went into a dark environment not knowing who would find in there. I mean, that obviously not a well-lighted situation, and sacrificed his life to go into a place that a lot of us, me included, I'm not sure I'd have the courage to do that. Incredible courage.
Yeah, imagine the incredible courage it took to go into that empty building and just stand there and look around and think to yourself, huh, that's strange. No one's here. Guys, I'm going to leave this video right here so I can go bang my head against a wall. I think this psychological operation, which people actually believe, by the way, is intended for them to see just how blatantly they can make their lies and just how many people will actually buy those lies. Leave your thoughts for the world and the Google Thought Police in the comments section below. I'll see you guys in the next video.
I just started yelling, John, let's go, let's go. And so we ran to the car, and that's when we saw the sheriff pulling up. And I believe that's the sheriff that lost his life. And I want to say I'm so sorry for his family.
And make a statement. Looks like the family is there. And they're getting ready to come to the microphone, so we'll listen in. Okay. My name's Robbie Parker. My family is one of the families that lost a child yesterday in the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting here in Connecticut.
He was a brave man to come into those shots because it was a scary situation for everyone. It really was. And the young kids, they were just having a good time, enjoying themselves. None of them deserve this at all.
They need to do something. People who have problems should not have guns. And if they run tests, but clearly the tests don't do anything. Because This guy was messed up in the head, and he was still able to carry a gun.
What would you like the politicians to do?
They need to step up and do something. Instead of just all this talk, everyone's just all talk, no one's action. We need to, like, do something about all this.
Oh, son, I love you so much. Oh, Heavenly Father, just please. He shot the front doorman, bouncer, just a young man. And he shot the cashier.
My son was Tel Orfanos. We lost him last night at the borderline shooting. My son was in Las Vegas with a lot of his friends, and he came home. He didn't come home last night, and I don't want prayers. I don't want thoughts. I want gun control, and I hope to God nobody else sends me any more prayers. I want gun control. No more guns.
And that was my answer, no more guns. You know what? First I want to do credit to the Underground Resistance Network for this audio clip. I think they did an incredible job. Why I'm bringing this up? This is the Thousand Oak, California shooting. Do I think people didn't die? No, I probably think they died. Was I there? No. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know all the details. But I know one thing, that the video that CNN showed, and you should really take a look, find it on, YouTube, with Paul Blitzer, whatever is his name, that's a complete act of propaganda. That's a complete psyops. That's a fact. So I don't know exactly what happened. I know one thing though, that they are pushing for this gun control. Even if all the things they're saying happen, that the crazy guy went into this bar and started to open fire, and all the things that we said that were accurate, still, we're never supposed to have a collective sense of guilt for the criminal acts of one individual. That's the bottom line. With this logic, we should pretty much outlaw everything else on the book, like, drunken driving and driving under the influence, speeding. No more cars, no more booze, just because somebody out there is using it irresponsibly. So that's the point. But the point is now we need to look at the big picture. Regardless the conspiracy, so we know one thing, Doc. The media is control. That's a fact. They control, who controls them? The people behind the scenes that they want to push their agenda. That's a fact. CNN is exposed now. Even the average American, they used to laugh at us a few months ago, a few years ago. Now they start to see through. Yes, there are still zombies out there that they believe everything Trump does must be bad and everything else, that the left is saying must be good. They're so brainwashed that these people, unfortunately, are beyond, salvation, in my opinion. But regardless, let's look now what's going on here if we have a logical mind. You know very well, I have no party affiliation. I'm the first one to expose, no matter who is there, my parameters, my judgment, it is not about any party agenda. It's about, first of all, I believe in one thing, that we have a Bill of Rights. That's the bottom line. I took an oath to defend and uphold this Constitution of the United States. That's my parameter. My parameter that every human being should have some inalienable rights. They are not given by any government. They are not granted by anything or by anybody. They are coming us. And all it does, the Bill of Rights, is reminding the government that we have those rights. So this is my parameter. And when I see out there politicians from both sides of the aisle, that they are pushing for a completely suppression of these rights, that's where I have to talk. And that's the only reason why I'm on this show. I tell you something. Every Sunday, I don't want to make it sound like, I'm doing some sort of a sacrifice, but let me tell you, this is for me is my form of volunteerism. I don't have time to convert or somehow to convince anybody. This is not this is not the purpose of the show. You can believe in whatever you want. I only wish that your belief would not interfere with my rights and other people's rights. That's all I ask. And that's why I think we need to talk about this, Now, let's talk a little bit more about this gun control that is really on the agenda. Don't forget, the House used to be Republican till a few weeks ago. Now, after these elections, going to go back under the Democrats. As I said before, something's going to, not much difference, because the Republicans, they had the chance to do a lot of good things. When to try to, even just in the Second Amendment, they could have done a lot of good things. Think about the suppressor, the suppressor law that would make legal to buy a suppressor for any gun or rifle without all the terrible paperwork and permits from the ATF that, you must have a special license. After all, why is it supposed to be so bad to have this suppressor, okay? Suppressor law. We had it on the floors, was on the book, never went through. The reciprocity law for 50 states, like supposed to be, I don't even like the idea of the license, but, since we already have a driver license, why should we even have a license in this way, a carry license for firearms that allow every law-abiding person in all the 50 states to be able to freely carry that gun for self-defense, always in conformity with the laws and with, of course, safety. I understand that, so have some sort of a system that we should go able to go through the 50 states. No, it didn't happen. It didn't happen that, it didn't happen also, of course, the suppressor. Many other things didn't happen. Let's not forget Obamacare. We got stabbed on the back by Republicans. McCain, I'm sure, is probably still rotting in hell. And, I'm not trying to be harsh with people when they're dead, but the reality is that many more people will die because of this Obamacare. People that they could not afford anymore their doctors. Because unfortunately the lies that Obama said, that if you want your doctor, you can keep it, don't worry about it. No, you cannot keep it. I couldn't keep in my own insurance. I had Humana before Obamacare. I was paying $150 a month. For a good plan, at least for my needs, was perfect. And then from $150 a month, they wanted $500 a month. How can you afford that at the same way, pay rent, mortgage, or eat, if you're a regular person? So that's insane. That's a lie. And Obamacare is not just another form to control us, but also to really put us in a situation that we must depend on the government. And many people, I'm telling you, have died. Many people have suffered. So I have no mercy for people who are really, also in a way very despicable. I mean, people like McCain, Senator McCain, I remember 9 years ago, before the elections, came to Mojave County, and he was so adamant to show that he was against Obamacare before the elections. He brought all the show, all the how many pages Obamacare was about, and he was opposed. And guess what? Now when the true colors came, when he had nothing to lose, he was almost pretty much off that. Guess what? Says, screw you people. And he's been lying to all the Republicans that supported him. I never supported the bastard, I must tell you. And if you feel offended by my language, that's fine, that's fine. As I said, you don't need to listen to this show. But I tell you what I really believe. At least with me, you have honesty. I'm not going to have a double talk. I'm not going to stab people in the back. If I praise you, I praise you. I mean it. If I tell you things I don't agree, I tell you in your face. And normally, as I said, we can get along, even we disagree. But there is a thin line that is not more about disagree with different, opinions. Your opinion about the weather or about your football team or what type of pasta you like or whatever food you like, that's your opinion. I couldn't care less. Even what your religion you believe. But the problem is when you believe, is trying to interfere with my life, with my rights. That's not, or my money. That's not more about opinions. That's about factual, complete act of try to infringe on my rights. That's what it's about. So that's the story. Now, talking about gun control, let me tell you, this is happening. Maryland, cops shoot man to death in his home for resisting gun confiscation. We talk about the new laws that is not just in Maryland, but also other states, like, for example, Florida, that if, let's say, a police, or somebody in your family, or even just somebody that knows you, believes that somehow you are a potential danger, without any type of mental evaluation, or more important, judge and jury and due process, all they have to do is say, hey, by the way, I believe that Mr. Zanna is crazy. After all, he has so many guns. That's it. Anonymous too. The cop can just go straight to the judge and get a warrant that they can come and get you. And more important, get your guns. Then you have to pay out of your own pocket and prove that you are not crazy or whatever. That's exactly the opposite of what we have in this country, a due process. We're all innocent until proven guilty. That's the point. So somebody in Maryland, let me play this. Well, let's see. I think probably better if I play this little segment because this is very sad. This is, people can say, I don't care. I'm a good person. Nothing's going to happen to me. You know what? Never know when it's going to be the next jealous person or just probably somebody that doesn't like you that could do the same things to you. So let's be less selfish and let's start to see what can happen to any one of us. Let me play this for 1 second. Let's see if I can get it through. This is very sad.
Give up his gun.
Killed him at his home this morning where they were attempting to enforce the new red flag law.
WJZ is live near the scene in Ferndale. Kimberly Eaton is updating this developing situation. Kimberly.
And Vic, police just left this Ferndale neighborhood now nearly 12 hours after officers first showed up here to attempt to remove guns from a home and ended up shooting and killing the gun owner. Flashing red and blue lights cut through the rain in this Ferndale neighborhood Monday afternoon. Police now guarding the street where their attempt to enforce the new red flag law turned fatal hours earlier. Around 5:15 in the morning, Anne Arundel County police say they came to a home on Linwood Avenue near Broadview Boulevard to take weapons from 60-year-old Gary Willis. They say 2 officers knocked on the door and Willis answered, armed with a handgun. Sergeant Jacqueline Davis says at first he put the gun down and stepped outside to talk with police.
He was fine with the officers until they told him, hey, we're serving you with this order, and this order orders us from the court to take your guns.
At that point, she says Willis went for his gun. One of the officers tried to grab it out of his hand, and Willis pulled the trigger. That bullet didn't hit anyone, but it prompted the other officer to open fire, shooting and killing the gun owner. It's a deadly beginning to a law that's barely a month old and that Anne Arundel County Police have only had to enforce 9 times so far, following court orders to remove guns from owners who reportedly may be a danger to themselves or others.
These are particularly dangerous because not only do we know there's weapons involved, we're also taking the weapons.
In this case, it led to gunfire before dawn on this otherwise quiet street. Justin Ralston moved in down the block a year ago, now surprised to see a full-on investigation where neighbors tell him crime just doesn't happen.
He lived for I don't know how many, 20-some years. He's never had anything stolen, It's just quiet neighborhood and everything.
And under the law, family, police, a list of people really can ask for the protective order to remove weapons. But in this case, it's not clear who petitioned the court. For now, reporting live in Anne Arundel County, I'm Kimberly Eaton for WJZ.
Think how sad. They don't even know who is the accuser. Every accused person should always be able to at least know who is the accuser out there. No, that doesn't happen. This is completely a tyrannical law. And the point is, many people, innocent people, will die. Innocent because till then, they were innocent. They were found guilty of nothing. So this is just, it is just the beginning. It is just the beginning. I'm concerned because now with the new House, with the new Democrats, they're not Democrats, by the way. I don't even want to use the Democrat word anymore because the last Democrat that I remember was JFK. JFK was a true Democrat. Doesn't mean that I agree with everything he was doing, but at least he was a patriot, and he may have done mistakes, but trust me, I look at how he ended up. He didn't ended up the way he was because he was somebody against, the Republic. He was trying to reclaim the sovereignty of this country, especially from the private Federal Reserve, another group of elites and secret society. But regardless, today's Democrats is completely different brand. They are completely open about their agenda now. It's called declare socialism / communism. They support people like Antifa. They support official socialist communist views. Look at what they just elected in New York. This Mrs. Cortez. That's out of a book of a complete Bolshevik indoctrination. Socialism to the extreme. So that's the reality that we are facing. So why they need so bad these guns out of the American people? Because that's the only way they will be able to enforce all the agenda that they have. And the agenda, we already talked about this many times. It is completely takeover of every individual rights. The individual now must be subservient to the state, to the collectivist. This is the opposite of what this republic was created upon. We were created about individual rights. And that's why they hate it so much. That's why they infiltrated the system in so many, many years. I mean, remember, whatever we have today, these idiots out there that they go to vote, they went to school, or whatever you want to call school, is public re-education. And it didn't happen by accident. 2 generations ago, 3 generations ago, they started to completely teach to the teachers. And that's what we have. And the same people now that they already went through the process, they're already part of society, look what we have. All these politicians, or even worse, people that they're not even elected, like bureaucrats. You know, the top levels of the CIA, Mr. John Brennan, or whatever is his name, Brennan, was a complete declared communist with a communist card. How can you have a CIA chief or director that he was proven to be a communist, active communist in his youth? It didn't change. Trust me, if you are a communist, this is going to be very difficult. By the way, I remember when I was, an immigrant, every time I was flying from Italy to America, I had to fill up an application. And this was, a very simple question. You ever been part of the Communist Party or the Fascist Party? And if you say yes, you may have problem to get into this country, justly. Why? Because these 2 principles are exactly the opposite of what this republic is supposed to be. That's why. So you see now we had instead, at the top level to our government, look at the FBI, look at all these people that they somehow standing along with this conspiracy with the Clinton administration to try to protect her over crimes. The same way, as I said, I'm not partisan for President Trump, but I tell you what they're doing to him, that's out of a conspiracy book, a complete plan to destroy him. Okay? So that's the point. So they're here. The enemy doesn't need to come from Russia, from China. It's already here within our walls. And the scary thing now, what they really need, you need to have the little boost at the election, at the ballot polls, because after all, they already brainwashed us the last 30 years, and this goes from both presidents, Republicans and Democrats, that we are a democracy. We need to spread democracy. How many times President Bush, George W. Bush, or all the presidents, they mention, we must spread democracy. We are a democracy. This is completely a blasphemy, if you want to talk about, our republic. We're never supposed to be a democracy. But the point is, when they know that we believe that we can somehow, 51% of the votes can change and destroy our rights, they have us. And they have us because people will believe that's exactly what we're supposed to do and follow. That's wrong. That's wrong. In our republic, every individual should have their rights protected by the mob, from the mob. Okay, that's the story. So we are at this point. Now, I have some problems with some of my Facebook friends, I must tell you, because at different levels. One is from some of my Italian people that some of them I knew him for years, 30 years. I can mention the name, I don't care, Claudio, I don't know, probably you don't even listen to me anymore, that's great. But I've been knowing this man for 30 years. And he had a lot of things in common. We like music, and when I was younger, we met in Canarias Islands. We had a great time. We were young, at least younger, and we shared part of our youth together. Then we lost each other for many years. And then we found each other again on Facebook. And normally, as I said, we may have differences of opinions, but I don't come on your page and tell you what to do. I don't tell you what to believe. Even sometimes I may say, what, your belief have damaged things that I care. I'm not an Italian anymore. I gave up my Italian citizenship years ago. But I still feel sorry for what happened to Italy and Europe in general, because I have family, and that's the place I grew up. That's the place where I was born. So I don't like bad things to happen to anybody. And especially to Italy. That's the place that I grew up. But the point is, there is a point that if you really believe that my positions on criticizing open borders, criticizing globalism, because the results are pretty obvious. You can go to Italy now, any city, big and small, doesn't matter. It's no more Italy. It's a third world cesspool. That's what it is. I don't even need to read the statistics. You can just don't even open the pages of newspaper. You can find every day a crime, a rape, a violence, a robbery, the new mafia, the Nigerian mafia, the North African mafia, the freaking Muslim mafia. There is so much under attack. We already have our own problems as a nation, but let me tell you, what happened to this complete, total open borders for the last 20 years has created now an invasion that unfortunately not only there is no assimilation, but also there is a cultural and economic and also public safety danger to the country. Italy now, it's an illusion. If you think you go to Italy, you still see people on the street, with a mandolin and playing songs for you. I tell you, I got news for you. Even your restaurant that you go, probably most of your food is going to be made by the pizza from some Egyptians that even speak English, or Italian, excuse me. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for potential opportunity for people. But one thing is a controlled immigration. One other thing is a complete invasion, because every boat, every shipment was controlled and planned by the globalists. It was somehow completely dropped on the coast of Italy. It's been going on for years, and we are now into the millions. Okay? Millions. Europe is being invaded. And now you start to see the people, unfortunately, also the country was forced to because Italian people, some of them, they have no type of control. Guess what? These people, they come from different cultural backgrounds, completely different religious background, and in their belief, there is no integration, there is no assimilation. The only thing there is conquering and completely controlling. It's true. If you get Muslim, come from radical countries that they really live in third world situation, I really believe, I already told you, by the way, if you're a Muslim, if you're a good Muslim, there is not extreme Muslim and moderate Muslim. If you're a real Muslim, you are unfortunately what the book says. And the book says that there is no compatibility with any other system. The only way you can live your life is under your law. Your whatever law, Sharia law. That's it. And you don't even recognize the state. Your state is a theocracy. Is under your God. That's it. So there is no integration. There is no chance of future in a civil society to have Muslims. Unless you are just Muslim by nature because you were born, but you don't really care and you live your life, and that's fine. At that point, you're just a human being. If you are a real Muslim, you follow the book, there is no integration. So the problem is Italy is being invaded by Muslims, out of control, left completely open doors by especially the left, like here in America, they try to do the same. And also we have all these North African third world countries that completely been invading for the last years. And now you can see them every day in the news. Women raped, men beat up, or violence, even against the cops. I mean, there is every day you can read news is so completely out of control that almost hard to put up. I mean, a North African man beat up two cops, and he got released the day after by the judge. Another story, you just need to go to Italian news and read. Another North African drug dealer, he got arrested, he had many pounds of drugs. The police confiscated his drugs and his money. He got released by the judge because, by the way, he was doing what he was doing because was in need. Think about now justice in Italy. He's totally blind. I've been sarcastic. Okay? So because was in need, he was allowed to do that. Meanwhile, also the judge ordered the police to give him back his money. Think about that, was an Italian person. By the way, if you're an Italian person and you don't pay your canone for the TV, let me explain exactly what it is. If you own a TV, any television, okay, as a hardware, like a monitor TV, you must pay by law a tax just because you own the TV. Because technically there is a monopoly. Even if you don't watch the Italian public freaking channels, by the way, they're horrible, overpaid, bastards, mostly connected to political, left. What you have, you must pay that tax just because you own a TV. If you don't pay that tax, you can also be arrested. Think about it. Italian people, they got beat up and, they have so many laws to follow that you have no idea. They will throw the book at you. But if you are from one of these chosen races, illegal aliens coming from third world countries and maybe even better, Muslims, you can do everything you want. You can rape, you can rob, you can steal. You're going to have a really, really free pass. So why I'm coming all this? Because when I was talking with my Italian friend, to come back to the point, he thinks I'm so out of control because I'm not for open borders, I'm not humanitarian, I'm not like that. Fine. I'm not here trying to convince you. If you want to be stupid, naive, and suicidal, Claudio, that's your choice. My point is, don't come on my page and don't be an ass. Simple as that. Because I'm not going to put up with this. So that's the story. And at the end, finally, as I said, you don't even need to read my post. I don't come on your page and read my post. But these people, they are completely like rabid dogs. And so I have to block and unfriend. That's simple as that. So that's my point. We should be able to put up with each other in a civil way. Even sometimes, it's hard for me to even think how stupid you are, and your stupidity and your selfishness and your lack of balls and brain created this completely nightmare, not just for the present, but especially for the next generation. Italy, I fear the day I'll be back, if I ever be back. I will never recognize Italy. It's like a cancer. It's already taken over. It took over the whole nation. If there is some sort of a migration, natural integration, I have no problem. But now it's like a metastasis. You go to Rome, you expect to see people talking Italian, speaking Italian, and having some basic things in common as a cultural identity. Now it looks like a freaking village from some third world country. I don't want to use the word hole, which hole, that you have no idea. And the dirt and the stench and the crime. Look in France, look in Italy, look in some areas of Sweden. Not only Sweden, it became the capital of freaking rape in Europe. And also all the rapes are committed by illegal aliens, mostly by Muslims. That's a fact. And don't forget also what happens now with some no-go zones. There are in Rome some no-go zones. We are not even free anymore to go unless you are black and you are Muslim. That's the scary things. So we should have a little bit of, at least respect for each other. And I'm pretty respectful because, as I said, I would like to go sometime on these people that I know and they still defend this nonsense, these suicidal tendencies, and I should tell them off. I don't do that. But don't come on my page, idiots, and try to poke me. At that point, you're going to get it all. Okay? You are one of the reasons why I left Italy 20 years ago. For your stupidity, your arrogance, your completely blindness, okay? And your selfishness. And one thing I notice, not everybody, of course, but many of these people who really want open borders, they have no children. They have no children. And I'm not trying to make a point that you must have children to care. I always care when I have no children. But my point is, some of the people, they're so selfish, and all they care is them. And they want to live the illusion and the goodie that they're doing something good for humanity just to destroy what's supposed to be their nation. They hate the idea that there is a nation. They want all miserable. That's what they are. Now, let's talk about another little important topic. Nazism, that means also National Socialism, and communism. I have some friends, as I said, on my Facebook page, that they come from different belief. I intentionally let you be my friends. I don't care if you are Zionist, anti-Zionist, Christian, Jews, whatever religion, whatever belief. All I ask you is one thing. That we have respect for each other, and we have at least one thing that put us together, that we believe in freedom. That's it. So you may have your own belief, but if your beliefs somehow your beliefs are able to support this idea that we are free human beings, you're welcome. Now, I don't really have any type of communist person on my page, be clear. They don't last long. Because the problem with your belief is that, unless they infiltrate, of course, you want to suppress my rights. Now, I found out that I have some of my friends that they believe in National Socialism. National Socialism also is fascism, also can be called Nazis, because that's what it was. There is no compatibility with that system, with freedom. And, I normally post, that bottom line, communism and fascism are both two different totalitarian political systems that they are against the freedom of the individual. I consider them like two snakes with two different skin color, okay? Or maybe two pieces of excrement with two different smell, but still an excrement. And I tell you this because I just didn't go through books and read them and get somehow news from second sources. I lived through my skin the post-fascism Italy, with the communism completely controlling the government. Even it was not communism with the tanks on the streets like in Russia, still there was a form of complete control against the individual. And that's why I left Italy. Let me spell it out. If you're a communist, you're not a friend of mine. I hate you. And normally I don't hate people. But the problem is that you believe it is not just an opinion. You believe want me dead, want people like me dead, or subservient to the collectivist. And I refuse to be your freaking slave. So that's clear. Now let's talk about the National Socialist, also the fascist. Mussolini was a perfect example. He was a socialist, became a National Socialist. Under the socialist system of Mussolini, the concept of the state as God, or at least the complete source of everything, Mussolini represented the state. The state controls every aspect of society. It gives you everything you need. Gives you food, gives you work, gives you education. My family went through that crap. Let me tell you. Yes, part of my family lived completely, were under Mussolini. I remember also stories from my uncles. They were forced to do things they didn't want to do. If you wanted to eat, you had to go through things that you didn't want to do. There wasn't freedom. There was complete control of the individual. And then, of course, there is also the violent aspect. If you didn't agree with that, guess what? They will come and they will beat you up, or they will segregate you, or they will isolate you, or they will relegate you in remote areas, or they will kill you. Simple as that. So no, I have no respect for fascism or National Socialism. I'm an individual. I believe in individual rights. That's why I came to America. This is the only place in the world where at least our founding fathers tried. They tried to give us an experiment called Republic, with a Bill of Rights, a Constitution. Now, the fact that we are at this point, we let it go so far, it's not their fault, it's our fault. Constitution and Bill of Rights, it's working only when good people behind, they will somehow defend it. If we get lazy, if we get somehow just thinking about, okay, just mind my business, don't worry about it, guess what? Doesn't matter. There are politicians that they're laughing at us, and they say, we don't care about the Constitution, and they're showing it. It's our right. We could stop all this tyrannical government overnight. All I have to do is unite, as I said, as Americans, as human beings, regardless of our races. I don't care if you're black, white, orange. If we believe in freedom, we should all find a common goal. That's the idea. That's the purpose of the show. That's why on my Facebook page, I'm trying to give the opportunity for different type of people to stay together. We may have differences, but at the end, if our differences don't change our lifestyle and our rights, we should stick together and look at the real enemies. The real enemies, we don't normally never see them. The real enemies is trying to put us against each other. That's what they're trying to do. I think every decent human being, I don't care which party you are, unless you're completely brainwashed, that your brain is completely, jelly, you want to be free. You don't want to be completely dependent on somebody else or something like the state. You want to live your life, be left alone, enjoy your family, enjoy your beautiful little things you may have out of life, even with the problems. And I remind you, a government that can give you everything can take everything from you. So that's the point. But, as I said, we are here. We're doing our best. Now, talking about our best, I am here to share with you also things that I do for a living, because this is the way also I support myself. I realized that in 20 years of my life in America, I never really had a paycheck, you know. I live and work, the fruit of my labor, of my ideas. Sometimes I fail, sometimes I make great. But the point, I'm trying. And one thing I want to invite you to, next Saturday, December the 1st, a great event, a great self-defense event for women only, at Kingman Force on Force in Kingman, Arizona. 3001 Stockton Hill Road, Unit 1. We have a self-defense seminar. It's a 6-hour seminar with Mr. Keo, a great man. I really like Mr. Keo. Not only is a great self-defense instructor, black belt in Aikido and black belt in Kung Fu Shaolin and some other great things, but also is a warrior who fought Marxism. If you fought Marxism, you know what, you're a friend of mine, I tell you. The man is in his 70 now, almost 70. And he really, he went through a lot of tough times. 7 years of fighting in a civil war in Burma, where he was from. And then, of course, as a professional soldier, trained in South African forces, special forces, in empty hands and edge weapons. You know, he went through a lot. And now we have him here as a human capital to share techniques and mindset, how to protect yourself. And this is exactly what we'll do at this seminar. The seminar is going to be for women only, this one. So it's going to be just for ladies. Why we do this? Because we believe that sometimes ladies want to have a special, little bit of a special care, and maybe they don't want to have a bunch of guys jumping around with testosterone. I understand that. So we're here for you, and the price is great, just $39, $40. Normally, if you pay at the door, it's $80. If you go to kingmanforceonforce.com, you go to the page Seminars, you can find the page, and it's prepaid. It's just $39.99. Saturday, December the 1st, it starts 8:30 in Kingman, Arizona. We finish 8:30. And otherwise, you find us on Facebook, Kingman Force on Force. So that's something I want to share, because this is the way what I also try to empower people with. Self-defense is a human right. This is not just to defend yourself against, you know, the regular scumbags, you know, criminals. One day may be the skill to defend yourself for your political ideas, for your freedom. So you don't need to live in fear. And of course, I always say, after you learn how to defend yourself with your hands, at your brain, because this is also what it's about, the best weapon is your brain. We teach you that. And the best fight is the one you can avoid. But also there is another way. Buy firearms. This is Arizona, especially in America. We have the right. Okay? And train. So at Kingman Force on Force, we show you incredible, real, practical, and effective self-defense techniques and training classes also with firearms. Okay? So that's the story. So that's the situation. Now, another important thing, you know, I have a new song. It's called Cuba Libre. Something I want to share with you. And you can find it on Amazon. It's a new release. I'm against communism. You know that. And I'm against all forms of totalitarianism. So this song, I wrote it for my brothers and sisters in freedom, in Cuba, who've been oppressed and try to free themselves. And all I can say, I pray for you, my brothers and sisters, that you find the strength and the energy to completely regain your freedom, that you, as like every human being deserves. Now, beside that, the song you can find it on Amazon. If you can download it for 99 cents, or you can go to www.zanna.us, where you can also find all my other songs. All right, I appreciate your help. I appreciate your support. And as I said, if somebody gets irritated by my talk, that's fine. Like guys, you know, I'm not here to try to convince anybody, but always be respectful. That's all. Be civil. I'll be civil. That's all I say. Okay. God's willing, I'll talk to you next Sunday. Ciao. And this is Cuba Libre.
stand against the tyrant. We're gonna fight this red revolution, oppression and executions. Yeah. Cuba libre, tierra nuestra. Can defy our dreams. Hey, Fidel, get enough of your regime. Hunger for the body, castration for the soul, communist brainwashing, human freedom squashing.
Are you ready to get lost in lust? Immerse yourself in a thunderstorm of emotions and passion. Order John luca-Zanna's new book, Perfectly Crazy, 69 erotic visions and love poems with forbidden erotic Italian phrases. Perfectly Crazy by John luca-Zanna. Available all over the world at Amazon.com and www.zanna.us.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman,
I'm not afraid,
and a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid,
Italian by birth,
I'm not afraid,
American by choice. Gianluca Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Gianluca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.